And we are live. Hey guys, it's great to be here with you all today. If you're in the chat, if you're joining us right now, I'd love to know in the comments where you're watching from, where you're catching this live stream from. So drop in the comments. I'm actually here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Chandler, you're in Austin, Texas, right?
That's right.
My old hometown. I used to be there for 10 years.
No
It's
way.
weird.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And our paths never cross. I'm very upset about that.
What part of town were you in? Remind me.
Yeah, I was in Georgetown. So 45
Okay. Yeah,
minutes
that's right.
outside
Yeah.
Austin. Yeah, a
Cool.
little country Texas town. Oh, we got Angelique from the Netherlands. Awesome. And I know I've got our AI director, media director, Jeff Joyce in the background on the content at scale handle. So if you see content at scale dropping in some things while I'm talking, unfortunately, that's not my AI clone. We're not there yet. That is Jeff. One day it'll be my clone. We've got Peter at A.D.A.P.T Real Estate, ready to go in New Zealand. Awesome. Very cool. Well, please continue to let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We have so much to cover today, so I don't want to waste any time. And if you're watching this on the replay, because this will go out as well on a replay, I know we had a bunch of people emailing me this morning saying they couldn't make it, but they were so excited. We've got a lot of people excited for this webinar. Oh, Kiara's here. It's great to see you. She recently moved from Italy to Texas. She's in your neck of the woods, Chandler. We've got William from Frankfurt, Germany. Joe, Talk Like Joe is in the house. All right. So, like I said, we got a lot to cover. So I'll hand it over to Chandler to do the intro, and then we'll get started with the class.
Sweet. Glad to see everyone here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Comment in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm excited to co-host this training today. And by co-host, I really mean get out of the way and learn from Julia. So Julia is awesome. She's a 10-time author. She's the founder of Content Hacker. She's also the president of Content at Scale. We had an awesome episode on the Self-Publishing School podcast about all things AI and kind of her background. I thought what was really interesting is coming from someone who's ran a 100-person human writing agency and someone who was resistant to AI, didn't like it, all those things, which I can imagine that some of you here listening are kind of like with one eye kind of cocked halfway open, like, all right, I'm here, but I'm kind of like a little suspicious. And then there's probably another bucket that's like, oh my gosh, all things AI, this is going to change everything. Tell me everything, right? So I know we've probably got a couple different camps here, but either way, I think you're going to learn a lot. I think you're going to have a lot of fun today learning from Julia. I certainly learned a lot, even just in the podcast interview that we did together on the Self-Publishing School podcast. And I had like 7 notes. I'm sending the team all these AI tools and all this stuff. And so it was a lot of fun, but I'll get out of the way and pass the mic to Julia. I'll be taking notes because there's a lot to learn in this field. And Julia is the best of the best. So excited to have you here, Julia.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to throw up on the screen that podcast episode, Adapt or Die, How to Use AI in Your Business. So if you don't listen to Self-Publishing School, Chandler's podcast, definitely check this episode out. Look at the thumbnail. That's not a flattering photo of me at all.
Yeah, me neither.
You neither. We'll take that off screen now. Anyway, go catch that episode on the Self-Publishing School, and then Self-Publishing TV, which is Chandler's YouTube channel. Almost at 100K on that, Chandler. That's amazing. But yeah, that episode was so good. All right. So like Chandler just said, let's dive right into everything. I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen the class notes that I have, and we're just going to jump right into it because, like I said, we got a lot to cover, and I'm really excited, you guys, because this is actually a completely new training that I developed just for today. It's been the result of, working a year and a half full-time in AI. So there's a lot that went into this, and I'm just so excited to share it with you all today. All right. So if you're ready, tell me AI in the comments and let's jump right in. So what I want to share with you is the lay of the land, what's happening and how AI is like just shifting everything as we know it, how I personally adapted, the personal adaptation story there, and how you can adapt yourself, not just what you do at work, but actually your habits, because this goes so much further than just content. AI is going to touch everything as we know it. I don't know if you ever watched The Jetsons, right? It kind of portrays like this AI age. We're actually living in a new age. I don't know if you know that. We stepped into it. So what do I mean by that? Let me walk you through what's actually happened to our world. So in the 1980s, we had the digital revolution. This was with the first computer. I was born in the 90s. I think Chandler and I are the same age-ish. So I don't know if you remember the dial-up modem. I do, because I was 7 years old, and it's like etched in my memory was that sound of the dial-up modem. Curious, like whereabouts you land, where you grew up in. For me, it was the information age. It was the 2000s, and seeing Google, Yahoo, early stage AOL, all those platforms come online for the first time, and then just get tons and tons of users. Now we're looking at, Google gets 8 billion searches per day. That's insane. So more than half of the world is online, billions of people. So we've actually left those two eras, which happened very rapidly. And we've entered the age of AI, or the technology age. And the reason that we know this has happened is because of what's happened in computing. We actually left an era called generalized computing, and we've entered a new era called accelerated computing because of what we can do on the actual processing power. We were drawing up neural nets on a napkin back in the 1940s, but we didn't have the power to run neural nets. It just wasn't a possibility. Now we do. It's insane. We live in this age. So first of all, I just want to give you some permission to go explore this. It is the Wild West. There may be a lot of fear or concern, or, what's going to happen. I mean, we got some major proponents that are on the stream right now, like Top Click Joe has fully embraced AI and built a whole agency around it and is serving his clients better than ever. So some of you probably not going to need permission, right? You're going to step into this and do really, really well. So we are in crazy times, like I said, and this is a known factor in the workforce. A study was done by IBM between thousands of people in the executive level and then the workforce level. And what they found out of these combined 24,000 people in 28 countries was that 40% of the entire workforce will have to reskill in the next 3 years. Guys, that's 1.4 billion people. Like, just let that hit you. That's insane. That's the amount of people that will be affected by AI. So what is artificial intelligence? Well, it's a machine's ability to perform cognitive functions that we normally associate with the human mind. So that's reasoning, that's learning, that's interacting with our environment, problem solving, and even being creative. AI can now mimic that. So AI itself comes from ML, or machine learning, which is a form of AI based on algorithms trained on data. These algorithms have gotten really good at detecting patterns and making predictions and generating content. So what's interesting is when the year 2022 rolled around and we had this breakthrough in compute in the 2020s, AI was tested on multiple benchmarks, including handwriting recognition, language understanding, common sense, grade school math, coding, reading comprehension, and it has officially surpassed a human at most of these benchmarks. Now, this doesn't mean that AGI is here. That's a whole nother topic. We won't go into that today. That's a rabbit hole. But what this means is that AI can augment most of our work in almost every industry. So we've had breakthroughs in two areas. This is really important. Make sure you catch this. We've had breakthroughs in the replication of human reasoning and the replication of human behavior. Human reasoning is the mind. It's the brain. It's how we communicate. It's how we talk. Human behavior is what we do with our limbs, how we work in a factory. This fall, we have humanoids rolling out. Figure 02 just launched their new iteration, or Figure launched its O2 model, and that is an autonomous humanoid robot that can complete in-depth tasks on its own. That's rolling out in factories this fall. In fact, it'll be in every BMW factory making the BMW vehicles. So we're seeing replication in both of these areas at a level we've never had before in technology. And just to show you the rapidly changing timeline here, the evolution of this, here's a picture. So in 2022, December of that year, Elon Musk launched his first humanoid, Optimus, also known as the Tesla bot. This thing couldn't even walk across stage, fell down. And the experts that were there laughed and they said, this thing is worse than the Honda humanoid from 20 years ago. They laughed at it. Well, January 2024, not even 2 years later, this same humanoid can lift weights, break eggs, fold laundry, and Elon Musk says it'll be threading a needle. And this is his new category that he wants to excel in, humanoids, because it's going to be bigger than the electric car market. And then fast forward just a few months later, we've got China launching this humanoid that can learn, think, and work like a human. It can flip sandwiches on a griddle. It can open and pour wine, iron clothes. So we've just had massive breakthroughs. And here's the underlying power of what is driving this. So, of course, compute, being able to run these models. We've had a huge breakthrough there thanks to the NVIDIA chip, which has a lot of monopoly, of course, in the computer chip market now. They run ChatGPT. Their chip fuels all of that. So GPT had a 15,000 increase in 5 years. And back in the 2020s, when I was first studying GPT, it was garbage. The output was terrible. But I held on to this belief that one of my mentors told me, he said, in the late 2020s, we're going to see content automated. And I was like, no, I don't believe that. Come on, that's crazy. Yes, it's actually happening because of these breakthroughs we've had in technology. Another reason we're in a whole new age is we've actually broken a law of science, and that's Moore's law, which is a technological foundational principle that brings about this idea compute doubles every 2 years. Well, we're 10xing every 6 months. That's insane. All right. So now that you kind of know the lay of the land, we're headed into a future that we just cannot avoid. This is so much more than hype. This is so much more than, everyone's scrambling to try to get an NFT and then the value of that falling and then it being questionable if that was ever a good thing. This is so much more. If anyone tries to tell you that AI is hype, you can literally now tell them we've entered a new era because we have the compute power to run these technologies. We will never go backwards, right? So understanding that is critical. So how do you adapt? Big question. Well, don't worry. If you feel like a slow adapter, that's rule number one, because I was that person too. This was me on stage, not even 30 full days apart. December of 2022, right after ChatGPT came out, I was invited to go speak on stage at Digital Marketer. And I was actually the headliner. I was in front of 7 speakers that day. And I was the only one there that was completely anti-ChatGPT hype. Because whenever I use ChatGPT, it's a single LLM, a large language model. It doesn't do any factual accuracy checking. It doesn't do any real-time research. And it just generates and predicts. And a lot of the content is bogus. It's completely inaccurate. And it's making up stuff. It's BS. So that's why I was on stage saying AI is garbage. I don't see it there yet. You still need a writer. So the reason this change was not because I wanted to join some clickbait headline. That is not me. I live in the world of robust solutions. If something works, if there is a functional solution that actually saves you time and money, I will tell you about it. It's my moral duty. And I come from, running an agency for 10 years. I ran my business. We all want this to be profitable. We all want this to bring about success for our clients, whatever it is that we do. So these things have to work, right? In this real world of functional solutions. So in January, my entire tune changed when I found a tool stack that automated 40 different steps in my content writing process. I was looking at an abundance of steps from the formatting, the way I laid things out, to the specific copywriting formulas that I used to develop a good introduction. These are the things I'd studied for decades, written over 1,000 blogs, A/B tested, scroll time, bounce time. And I was looking at everything I knew when it came to good content, put into an automation series and a tool stack that actually gave me great content. So when I saw that, I was like, well, I would be really stupid to sit here and continue to humanly write everything when I can save hours and hours of time. So in 5 minutes, this tool stack, which is the one I now work at, Content at Scale, could actually do all these things that took me over 7 hours. And it was insane to actually be looking at this right in front of me. It could generate unique, original, human-like content that mimicked my voice. You wouldn't even be able to tell I didn't write this. It sounded so much like me. And this content actually worked. There were case studies after case studies of users publishing their content from this platform and ranking over and over again for thousands of keywords. And then, of course, the time saved, right? Whenever you've been a content writer, whenever you've written lots of content, I know a bunch of you here have in the comments, tell me if it's been painful writing content in the past, right? It's a time-taking process where you've got to open a Word doc, you've got to do all the research, you've got to put together the outline, got to go find your keywords, got to go put it in some kind of copy editing tool, make sure that you're on point. And then you got to go through the process of getting ready to publish that piece of content. And then the actual writing, let's hope you wrote content that's readable. So for AI to automate all of this was astounding. Okay, so going back to what we said earlier, we know that 1.4 billion people in the workforce are going to have to reskill, upskill into the new age. And I'll give you the secret. I think you probably already know it if you're here. The people that use AI are going to be the winners in this new age. How can you get ahead of this? How can you get in front of it? How can you adapt? But you just saw my journey, right? I didn't just jump on a hype train. I made sure that I had a functional solution that I could get behind. Because if I couldn't, then my entire reputation down the drain, my entire publishing journey, I would have absolutely no reason for people to follow me. If I put out bogus content, my personal brand was worth everything to me. It's how I got every single client. It's how I got high ticket clients. So that trust factor was critical. And that's why I didn't just adapt to the first fancy AI tool that came along. I really weighed solutions, and that's what you need to do as well. And that's why I'm really excited. I didn't even mention this, but after we go through some more of this training, I'm going to walk you through an actual framework that we use to help people adapt. But after that, I'm actually going to share with you some new technology that we built at Content at Scale just for book authors and writers. And I'm really excited to share that. I'll actually demo it for you and show you how you can get a piece of it. And it would match perfectly in your journey with self-publishing school, because that's another piece of this. It's going to be people that know how to operate AI and work it into existing processes, not necessarily replace everything. Like, I can't replace Chandler's expertise. I can't replace the expertise of self-publishing school. But you know what I can do? Write my book 10 times faster and probably better, because AI has more data points, more knowledge, more capabilities than a human will ever have. So if I know how to harness it, and then I just match up the right coach, match up the right solution, I can get to my goals way faster. Way faster. The efficiency gains are insane. All right, so here's the framework that I want to walk you through. If you're like, well, how do I actually adapt to this new world? This framework will change your life, I promise you. So it's called A.D.A.P.T. And this is the brainchild of, I got to give credit to Jeff Joyce, our AI and media director, who helps me come up with this. This is a big piece in a book that we're writing called Upskill. And I'm going to share with you the process of how I'm writing that book using AI at the end of this, which is really, really cool. Okay, so the first step in this framework, and this is again for you if you're like, you know what, I need to know how to personally adapt my life. Like, this goes beyond work. This goes into your habits, everything you do. Like, how can you be AI first? Because I promise you, if you're thinking like that, if you're thinking, how can I do this with an AI first approach, whether it's find a recipe. That's one of the things I use AI now to help me with. If you're thinking like that, that's going to translate into work so well, because the hardest thing is to change old habits. And if we're opening up that Word doc, if we're writing from scratch all the freaking time and taking way more time than we need to, well, that's a big habit to change, right? Like, that habit alone is really hard to break. Don't underestimate that. And don't be too hard on yourself. Okay. So going into this framework, the first step is to assess. What does that mean? This means to take a look at your current situation, your strengths, your weaknesses, your skills, and your expertise. Figure out basically where you shine. And then what you're going to do is look at gaps that you can supplement with AI. And this is perfect for people that are building their own business, freelancers. If you're thinking about being a book author, this is also perfect for you because you can really match your direction to generating income in a business, whether that's a freelance business, an agency, etc. So you need to find your strengths. That is critical, and your weaknesses, to know the areas you can delegate or have potentially AI take over. I got to shout out Top Click Joe again. I know he's on the line. He's not a writer. He never was. I think he mentioned in one of our case studies, he failed kindergarten, writing back in kindergarten. He's not a writer. So that's a skill set you can actually have AI come in and augment, do better than you. Okay, so the second piece of the A.D.A.P.T framework is to define. You need to define your goals and determine any missing skills that you have. So what do we mean by goals? What are some specific measurable goals you want to achieve? For example, let's say I was building an agency and I wanted to be an AI first content agency. Well, one of the goals I would have is learn how to use content at scale, because I can do content and decrease 8 hours a day in the workload I would normally have when delivering high quality content. So one of my goals would be learn how to use content at scale. And then I'd get my hands on it and I'd learn how to use it. And I'd watch the YouTube videos that the creators of that tool put out. I'd complete any courses that they have. Right. So working backwards, setting goals around what you want to do, working backwards is going to be critical. And then you just need to acquire and start learning. So I am in a constant state of learning. I can't tell you how many times I'm opening YouTube now and I'm just soaking in knowledge. And sometimes that knowledge doesn't really translate to, oh, this is something I can now, open up some AI image tool and I know 10 different things that are going to change my working atmosphere. It's not necessarily that kind of learning. Sometimes it's just soaking in knowledge about the way the world is going to work when it comes to AI. And that's what you need to be doing. A book that I'm really enjoying right now is Ethan Mollick's Co-Intelligence. That book lays out the history of all of this and what we're headed into, and like very specific breakdowns of how LLMs work and the technology behind them. So that book is excellent. It really gives you a real world perspective. And Mustafa Suleyman, the creator of DeepMind, which Google bought, that is an amazing expert to follow. And of course, on YouTube, podcasts like Lex Friedman's are excellent resources full of knowledge. So once you start to learn, then you can practice, because we all know this. We learn this, I don't know, second grade. Practice makes perfect. You don't know what you don't know until you get your hands dirty. That's the truth. So what I'm going to share with you at the last piece of this training here is how I'm actually using some new technology to develop the next book that I'm writing. I can't wait to share it with you. So you're going to get some real hands-on practice today. What I want to do is actually pull one of you. So if you have a book idea you've been thinking about, let's get that going. I'll show you how to use an AI bot to actually write your book. So I'm going to shout that out now, and then I'll be looking for somebody in the comments, let's say probably 10 minutes from now. So if you have a book idea, be thinking so you can raise your hand towards the end of this. All right. So the next piece in the A.D.A.P.T framework is to transform. It's one thing to kind of assess the gaps that you have, to define your goals, and then to acquire missing knowledge, and then to practice. And it's something else entirely, just to continually approach all of this in a way where you have a mindset of continual learning. Because the worst thing you could do is like try to go take a college course right now on AI. I guarantee you that college giving you some college course on AI can't predict the next 6 months. And what we're about to live out in the next 6 months is potentially iRobot-like scenarios where we're going to see leaps and bounds in adaptation inside physical places of work with AI. Like, it's insane what's going to happen this fall, just in the physical side of all of this, of automation. So if you have this mindset of, I'm okay with continually learning, I'm okay with continually needing to adapt what I do, that is by far one of the best things you could do. If that was the only thing you took away from this entire A.D.A.P.T framework, I would be thrilled. Because the worst thing you could do is think to yourself, okay, I know this much about AI, I've arrived, because of how much AI is changing in and of itself. So to have a continual mindset of transforming is critical. All right, a very quick shout out. We have a book coming out with that whole framework. We're interviewing a lot of experts, getting their thoughts on how to adapt best in more than 15 industries. Jeff Joyce is my co-writer on this book, doing an amazing job. So keep your eyes peeled. That book will be sometime out in the next year. Don't want to put a date on it. We're actually shopping around with potential publishers, which is why it may be delayed a little bit, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. So Upskill coming out soon on the horizon. All right. So what I want to share with you is how I'm actually using AI to scale content production. And I'll share with you a little bit about how we're doing this on the content marketing side, meaning like to actually grow a website to millions of hits a month. And then I'll share with you some quick and dirty and immediate AI writing hacks you can put to use like today. I'm not kidding you. Like you could get started with an AI bot tonight on your book. That is how quickly we can get you to using AI. All right. So the lay of the land when it comes to building massive traffic streams back in the day, 2 years ago, back in the day, my goodness, it took over 10 writers and at least 2 editors, somebody to oversee the publishing, somebody involved in researching, somebody involved in strategy to do what you can do with one human today. I'm not kidding you. We're actually seeing this happen and we are doing it ourselves. So on the Content at Scale site, we're actually publishing up to 100 pieces of content per month with one human running the AI machine. This human is not burnt out. They get to have their weekends. The machine does all the heavy lifting. This is the power of AI whenever you use the right AI solution. And you don't have to waffle through a million prompts, waffle through editing a million times and figure it out and then lose a lot of time. Like life really changes when you get your hands on the right AI and you know how to use that AI for the right goal. Very strategic is how you want to approach this as much as possible. So the way Content at Scale is set up is to produce incredible content that gets results. So here's a few examples from our users and our customers. One of them is NextCare. So they publish this one blog straight out of AI, and it's ranking for over 1,500 keywords, driving over 3,000 organic visitors per month, the single content piece. And I know we've got some people in the comments that use Content at Scale, and they're seeing the same kind of results. Here's another example. This one's ranking in the top 3 for a keyword, very high value keyword for that client around fractional CMO certification. They didn't edit anything. This was straight out of the machine. Here's another example. This comes from our own blog on our site. So this one ranks for over 1,000 different keywords around how much money can you make from writing a book? And then it gets over 100,000 impressions per month. Here's another example. I believe Top Click Joe's in the comments. This is from his agency. He has an amazing process around using Content at Scale to create content that drives traffic. So this particular piece of content, excuse me, drives over 3,000 organic visitors per month. Another example, we could go on and on and on. But the picture when it comes to content marketing and the website side of all of this, the SEO side, AI can change everything there, because whenever we used to have to approach creating content that drove a lot of traffic, it took so much time, so much energy, so much money that it was usually only accessible to companies at the 5 million or more per year mark. And now I'm telling you that accessibility has dropped. It's opened up, because if one person can run the machine and get the same results of 20 people, that's incredible. So imagine if you just fed a tool a keyword and you clicked right now and you got a piece of content that ranked for over 1,500 keywords, drove 3,000 ideal users to your site per month. So that's the power of Rankwell, which is the technology inside of our platform that does long form content. And I'll show you both sides. But what I really want to focus on today is this new technology I referenced earlier, which is the short form writer, some writing agents that we've built. So a big core of Content at Scale, one reason I love this company, I love being a part of it, and the mission involved is we really believe in helping you achieve real and lasting brand growth, not some quick fly-by-night shiny tactic, but actual, real, lasting brand growth. And I got to give a shout out to self-publishing. They're such an ideal partner because a book is a lasting vehicle. It's so much better. You know, the books that I write, I give those out instead of calling cards. Like, they just really get you remembered. So when it comes to the keys of brand growth, what are those actual keys? Well, you need writing. You need writing in books, in social media, in LinkedIn posts, you name it, you need writing. And then the second piece is your website. How are you going to build authority? How are you going to build domain growth? So we've automated technology suites. These are our own technologies that have been built by our founder and the development team. So these are unique and proprietary to us with AI inside each of these platforms to generate content. But we've actually guided the output and built in specific technologies like real-time research, SERP crawlers that make these things amazing. Like, way more amazing than what you could get out of any single LLM, which is a large language model, which, remember, we said earlier, there's no source of truth, right? It's flipping around from topic to topic. It's just pulling in what it thinks is the best answer, not necessarily the best answer, kind of bogus. So this is why this technology is different. So here's an actual look at Rankwell. Again, I know some of you in the comments are using this platform to fuel your growth, which is amazing. But here's what a full piece looks like. And we're going to switch to the platform in a minute so I can share with you the new AI agent that we've built for you to see today on book writing. But you actually get the links. All of these things that build a high authority piece of content are automated. So it went and found the study when it was referencing the position of a spine in how to do squats right. So studies show, and it's linking to a .gov study, and it's pulling in real authority resources. This is the difference. This is what you cannot get, I'm telling you, with any single LLM. It's not going to go and find that study. It's not going to go and link to it. And it's not going to go make sure that link is not dead. All the things that it used to take a human content writer hours and hours to do. I'm telling you, it's now automated in this platform, which is incredible. And it will do your keyword research. This is built into the keyword research tools inside of Rankwell. All right. So what I want to do is go ahead and share with you the Writewell suite. And you can actually get everything I'm going to share with you today. You can actually get this in a custom plan that we've developed just for this training. If you go to contentscale.ai/49, I believe Jeff will also drop that in the comments. You can jump in on this plan right now. It's $49 a month. But before you do anything like buy the plan, I want to share with you what it does. So let's go ahead and I will share my screen, and you're going to get to see my entire process for writing my new book. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. You should be seeing my screen. Let me know in the comments if you can. All right, so we're going to jump into Content at Scale itself. So I'm going to walk you through all the things. I mentioned Rankwell, which is the long form writer. What I want to demo with you today is our Writewell suite, the writing bot that will help you actually develop a book. It's pretty freaking mind-blowing. So get ready. All right, so when you log into Content at Scale, the plan that we linked up there in the comments for $49 a month will get you into this. So you see here it says start writing. This is the Writewell suite. And this is where we have over 40 different AI agents that we have trained to give you awesome output. So whether you need a Medium article, an Amazon listing, a Reddit post, if you need e-commerce content, if you need to think about pricing for the business you're building, if you need help doing copywriting, help doing email, we've loaded this thing with 40 different AI expert AI agents. And these function like experts that guide you through what you actually need to tell AI to get better output. Because, and you're going to see me develop this here in the next few minutes, AI, the output that you're going to get from AI is all about the input you give it, right? You can really do great, or you can get garbage. So the input and the guidance around what you give AI is critical. And that's why this is insane value, because we've actually built into these agents the guidance that you need. I think, since I referenced Rankwell, before we go into the demo, which will take about 10 minutes, then we're going to stop for Q&A. This will be a full hour. We'll wrap up top of the hour. I want to share with you Rankwell really quick, because, and that's before I do the full demo where we're going to actually write book content, because I referenced Rankwell in the training and I want to do this justice. This is really why I fell in love with the tool, and what you see here is just incredible. I can tell you, I test tool after tool just to be aware of the market myself, and nothing comes close. And it sounds very biased because I work here, but I'm telling you, if you could get this for cheaper, better somewhere else, I'd like to know, because I can't find it. So all you need to do is you can do keyword research straight from here. If you're wanting to find keywords to go after, you got your search volume, your ranking difficulty, all straight from here. And then you can click create content, and it'll go straight into the queue and generate content. So here's a post. I want to pull up from the 9th, which that's in the future. Oh no, that's July. I was like, August 9th, that's in the future. Okay, so this was a little over a month ago. This is content for my site, Content Hacker, and then I'll show you content for the Content Scale site. So all we did was add in an image that links to a page we want to highlight, but all of this was written by the AI. It's insane. So see how it's formatting everything? It's giving you bullet points. And over here on the right, we've got our optimization score. We can even do a plagiarism scan straight from the app and see if it's original. We can do an AI detection scan straight from the app to see if it's original. We can do keyword analysis, see how many keywords are included, if we're missing any keywords. All that's right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more Rankwell post, and then we're going to go into an actual book writing session using AI. Okay, so we're going to pull up a recent post for the Content at Scale site. This was just a few days ago. 6,000 words straight from a keyword, content hacking strategies. And it's generating all this content. And let me tell you something, this hook right here, this is a specific copywriting formula to get your readers to stay on your site longer. And that formula is problem, agitate, solution. So the past formula, if you've probably heard of this if you're a copywriter. So we name the problem and we agitate it. We talk about viral content. And in this scenario, it's a good problem. And then we talk about the solution. And the solution, of course, is the guide. So we've got that all worked in. And we hadn't edited a single piece of this. This is straight from AI. Look at this piece of content. It's insane. All these subheaders, all this formatting, all this good content. And of course, we can check for plagiarism. We know this is original piece of content. We can do an AI detection scan. We can tweak it if we see things that don't work. Look at this. It's even putting graphs in here. Pretty freaking incredible. All right. So that's Rankwell. And if you're interested in this, our pricing model will change in a few weeks. But right now it's it starts at $249 a month for 8 posts. And that's at contentscale.ai. But let's do the Writewell AI book writing demo, which I'm really, really excited about. So I'd love to know in the comments if any of you actually have a book idea. And while you're thinking, I'm going to walk you through my process of putting together my 10th book with AI. So what we've done is we've actually developed some very specific book agents. So some book AI writers that guide you through all the questions you need to answer to generate a chapter, and then it'll generate the chapter for you. And the chapter is dang good. You're going to see it for yourself. So the process of writing my book, I am pretty old school. So you see like the content is still thought through in a Google Doc because I kind of need a source of truth, right? I need a place to put my core thoughts in. So I always start here. But as for all of the rest of the rest of the content, this is generated by AI. And what I'm going to do is just work on it and make it better. Like this particular piece of this particular chapter right here, this is 100% the AI agent I'm about to show you. I didn't write a single word. Look at the flow of this. So we're talking about AGI and automation, which is this wild idea that one day soon it's hard to put a date on it. Automation will be at a level of general intelligence. And when it has general intelligence, that means it understands how the world works. And when that happens, we can literally deploy agents all day to do the work we don't want to do. And then we get extreme freedom. So that also brings up some problems, right? Like mass homelessness, idleness. Like, what are we going to actually do? Anyway, so that backstory is where we're going with this book chapter. So listen to these sentences. It's incredible. So we're talking about automation affecting the future of work. And here's what the book writer is generating. Imagine waking up every morning with the weight of the world lifted from your shoulders. You check your bank account and there it is, a month's worth of stability rolling in automatically, $1,000 just for being you. This is the promise of universal basic income. However, amidst the enthusiasm, doubts creep in. Will UBI just become another tool for control? What happens when that autonomy is held in the hands of the greedy or the nefarious? These are valid concerns that many share, especially considering the balance of power in our society. And then it goes on to say, let's consider a tale of two futures. Imagine a world where UBI is misused by a tyrannical leader. Talks about a worker that's under control of a tyrannous, however you say that word, nefarious government. And then it paints another picture where it could go right. So what's insane is I didn't write a word of this. AI did. But what I did is I fed it the idea. So that's really important, right? Something we talked about was how we're still going to need specialists. We're still going to need people to guide AI and tell it what to generate. Because if I just try to deploy an agent right now and say, okay, write Upskill, that book, I can promise you right now, it's going to have no value. It's my ideas fueling the AI bot that give it value. Okay, so how do we use the AI bot? All right, so here's how simple it is. And this is what you can get started with today on this $49 plan that gets you into the Writewell suite. You'll get inside this tab called Start Writing. You'll be able to go over here to the right, which is the tool suite. Over here on the left is your editor. So on the right, I'm going to be able to open AI agents. I'm going to be able to search and find my book, the book writers. I'm going to pull up the nonfiction book section writer. We also have another agent just to help you generate stories. And that agent's amazing as well. But let's start with the nonfiction book section writer. So here's how simple it is. I'm going to start by greeting the chatbot because, as you know, Rosie the robot would like you to say hello. I'm just kidding. But anyway, you just start with saying hello. All right. So it's going to guide you through a series of questions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the answers that I've written out for my book Upskill, just to show you what you want to do with this agent yourself. So, all right, I'm writing this book called Upskill, right? I've fleshed out the idea. Like that's all you need, by the way, to work with AI and start getting your chapters written. You need the idea. You need a strategy. If you're working with the self-publishing team, that's amazing because they bring that strategy. And then the actual writing part, you can get done way faster with this. All right, so we're going to define our audience for Upskill. It's pretty freaking broad. It's workers at all age categories that work online. So now it's asking me, can you provide insights on the main topic or theme? What are the key points you want to address? So what I recommend doing with AI is working on it section by section. You don't want AI to generate all 30,000 words from this one session, right? So we're doing this again. What was I referencing earlier? We can really just get output or we can get amazing output. This is the difference. So my goal in this thread is to get around 600 words, 500 to 600 words of one single chapter. So that's the direction we're going in. That could be my introduction. That could be chapter 1. Could be really any chapter I want to write. So for this particular one, I want to write a chapter on UBI. I want help structuring an argument for and against, and kind of paint the picture that there are pitfalls and perils, but there's also some really good things to it. So because that's what I want a chapter on UBI. I'm going to tell it, hey, you're going to write about UBI, the studies done with UBI, the success and failure ratio. I don't need to give it too much more. That's the amazing thing with AI. I can really not give it a ton, just a general direction, and it's going to generate awesome content. Okay, so your tone, think about the overall tone you want for the book. For me, it's casual and professional. So I'm going to tell it that. And then as far as specific examples, that's the next question. I'm going to actually give it a very specific case study that was recently completed, the largest study done on UBI with Sam Altman, a project across 3 years done by Open Research. So I want that specific study included in this chapter. So I'm going to say, talk about that study. It was a project supported by OpenAI. And here's a couple findings in that study. That's it. Like, we're keeping this very simple. Okay, next it's asking me what potential questions or concerns might your readers have related to UBI. So I'm going to give it a question as an answer because I want it to help me think through addressing that question. So you want to guide AI, never give it the answer. Guide it to help you find the best answer. So I'm going to say, will UBI be used to control the welfare of humanity? And if so, are there going to be greedy people or folks that have nefarious purposes involved? So I'm wording this back as a question because I want it to explore it. All right, so now it's asking, is there a specific call to action? And the call to action is the practicality of UBI. So again, we're just fleshing this chapter out with AI right now, right? All right, should we include any analogies or real world scenarios? Yes, I want you to make up a scenario about somebody who is under the control of a nefarious world leader, and then show somebody that's in a good world where the good of humanity is the goal of UBI. All right, so we're going to give it that. And then it's asking me for quotes. So I'm going to give it a specific quote from one of the world leaders on UBI. His name is Scott Santon. And this was a quote he gave on that new study that just came out, done by OpenAI, where he's talking about average results in the report were really surprising. There was no decrease in employment status and hours worked among childless adults. Instead, it was single parents and young adults that actually did less paid work. Instead, they did more learning and care work. So they took care of each other and they put that time into learning, not laziness. So that was a surprising finding. All right, so now the AI has everything it needs to develop the content. Do you see how, like, this is a way different approach than we're opening ChatGPT and we're like, hey, help me write a book, develop a chapter on UBI. No. This is entirely different. So we have a specific AI agent, an AI bot that's been trained on awesome book copywriting. There's a back-end series of prompts, and we're refining daily to make that happen. And shameless plug, you can jump into this right now for $49 a month. This plan, by the way, goes away end of August. It's a specific plan just for you listening and watching today because we really value your time. We want to give you tons of value. ConstantScale.ai/49 gets you the capability to sign up for this plan today. All right, so we've got all the content that it wrote. Now we're going to add it to the editor. This is where we take it out of the chat bot and we start working on it. All right, so here is the actual book content. And so from here, what I'm going to do is title it Chapter on UBI. Going to delete any content I don't want. And I'm going to read through this and see how it is. Now, of course, this is the scenario I already ran through and put in my book because that's how good the content was. My book is being co-written, and you now see how with this AI chatbot that we wrote. So it's giving me a great opener. It's talking about a scenario instead of just, here's what UBI is. All right, it's creating something that's more readable. And this is book flow, very specific book flow that we've studied and baked into this agent. Then we've got headlines where we've formatted and broken up the topic at hand. It's researching or it's referencing that study that we gave it. It's bringing in that quote by that expert beautifully. And it's even summarizing that quote that UBI is fostering a more engaged and skilled workforce because those people are spending time and learning. So this is the difference, right, between hallucination and AI just coming up with something that's not even relevant, or AI doing a beautiful job helping you create an awesome book. This sentence supports that quote. It summarizes that quote very well. All right, it's talking about the pitfalls of UBI, talking about a successful implementation of it. I want to break this up, give that an extra paragraph. We're going to delete this ending that the chatbot added in, and we're going to hit save. And this kind of content is good enough to go inside a book. And this is all original content, right? And I can even do checks right from the editor here. If I wanted to improve the writing, if I wanted to fix spelling and grammar, if I wanted to make a sentence shorter, make a sentence longer, I can do all that right from here. If I wanted to change the tone, if I wanted to make this more formal, more witty, I can do that as well. I can simplify it. So we've got all these AI options right here, and that's included in that $49 plan. So you get all the AI agents over here, and these AI agents go far beyond just book writing. We have over 40 that can help you with your Facebook posts, your Medium articles, Reddit content, creating virtual events, looking at putting together e-commerce content, thinking through your brand, thinking through if you have pricing you have to do for that brand, financial advice. Don't, take that with a grain of salt. There's so much in here that can help guide your content creation. And that was something we were talking about earlier, right? The keys of brand growth. It really comes down to writing. And today's very specific example is book content. And this is how you can get it done without any writing yourself. And the flow here, this is the last thing I would point out. The flow is really good. And flow itself can take so much time to think through. Like, is the flow accurate to the point in where I want to support another point? And AI has done a beautiful job at that. Okay, so I don't know if we have time. We probably don't to do this for someone, which was one of my goals. But what I would rather do is just give this to you guys, and just let you get started. We have a freebie where you can actually see the 8 steps that our chatbot takes you through. So Jeff, my AI clone behind the Continent Scale YouTube handle, can drop that in the comments as well. That is, I believe, continentscale.ai/book prompts. So you can actually see those 8 prompts that the chatbot is asking you. Now, a good question would be, well, can't I just take these to ChatGPT? No, because what you would have to do is have ChatGPT ask you these questions and then know how to structure book content, right? And that can take hours of prompting, like seriously, hours of prompting. I talk to writers on a regular basis that use ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet is pretty amazing, but you're not going to get the knowledge that gets you the output that reads really good like a book should read. And that's the power of this generative AI plan that you can now get through Continent Scale. This AI agent, by the way, got to give a shout out to our dev team and Jeff, our media AI director, and even our founder, Justin, because they made this AI agent happen in time for today's training. Like, the AI agent wasn't working a couple days ago. It broke. There's a lot of time that was put into making this work for you all today so you can actually see how it works. And then we could actually give you a vehicle to go take your book idea, open up a chatbot, and get that book written. Like, we have an entire chapter written, and I just fed it the data, the details, the tone of voice, the topic, a scenario I wanted it to paint, expert insights, and that's it. It wrote the whole freaking chapter. That's insane, guys. Okay, so again, continentscale.ai/49 is going to get you to a plan that goes away the end of August. We only have a few weeks left. Well, it's early August, so we've got three to 4 weeks left. Or you can jump on this plan, $49 a month. Even if you get one book chapter, like if you were to pay a copywriter at a level where they can write a book, that's over $40 an hour. So just one chapter, if that's all you do, I hope you'll use this AI agent for so much more. And we have 40 other agents in this library to help you develop great content. But if that's all you use it for, that's insane value. And then you just got your book written, which is freaking incredible. Okay, so I am going to bring Chandler back on for Q&A. Bring you on here.
That's awesome. Well, hey guys, give it up for Julia in the chat. If this was helpful, comment in the chat. Let us know. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway. And then if you got a question or two, I know there were a couple questions coming in throughout the presentation. But if you got a question or two, check, just comment in the chat, let us know. And then the biggest thing I would say with this sort of thing is just get in the game, right? Check out the tool, sign up, use it. I think a lot of times, for me at least, it can feel intimidating, or like it's easy to just pontificate about the potential of AI. But then if you're not actually doing it, it's like you start to see more and more use cases once you get under the hood and start to see it at work. So I would say I wish that we had this when we were building out a lot of our content on a bunch of our sites, because this just makes it levels up the content, it improves your content velocity. Like there's so many areas this can help. So I love it. Mike, John, a lot of love in the chat. EC, Alex, Jonathan, awesome. A bunch more folks. Yeah, this was awesome.
So cool.
So yeah, go ahead, Julia.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for adding those insights in, Chandler. Yeah, the best thing you could do is really just get your hands dirty. I completely agree. We got a question. What's the word limit with the $49 plan? I believe it's 25,000 words. Jeff, my AI clone, would you please let us know in the comments if that's true? But I believe that that's true. You can also, if you go to that page, cosmoscale.ai/49, and you click at the bottom there, sign up, it'll take you through a flow where it gives you specifics about what is inside that plan. So click those buttons, go to that page, click the sign up, and you'll see. I think most of your questions will be answered. We've got another question. How does Constant Scale address information gain for the AI content? Ooh, that's an interesting question. If you could type in the comments, what do you mean specifically? Because I could make some educated guesses, but I'd love to hear how you see information gain from your specific scenario. Like, what does that mean to you? Are you thinking like new knowledge that comes out for your industry and how to add that into your content? So let me know in the comments and I will address that. And I know Jeff's reading these comments as well. Question, will you get to keep the rate? Yes. If you sign up today, you will be grandfathered in on this plan. So I can't stress enough. Like, I wish I could get our founder to keep this plan forever because it's awesome, but he won't. We have a whole rebrand coming out. We have some huge news, new products coming out that are just amazing. So we're making room for all of that, but we wanted to give you guys a lot of value today and actually build a functional solution. And, I think with Chandler and self-publishing, there's so much potential ahead. Like, I'm going to connect with Peter and Spencer, make sure you guys get a full demo, make sure you guys get your hands on this. We want you guys to be at the forefront with everything you do. You already are. You have so much knowledge. So I'm really excited where we can take this with Self-Publishing School, because you have an amazing company, Chandler. So I'm like, Chandler, you need this.
Yeah, I love it. I was sharing it with the team.
Oh, that's amazing. Very cool. Yeah, there's so much we can do.
I saw we got a question in here. You may have already answered this. I may have missed it. I think it was, I think you answered this during your presentation, but parenting aging parents asked, is Writewell just for writing a book, or does it have other uses too? And then a follow-up question of, can you explain the difference between Writewell and Rankwell?
Yes, great questions. Well, let me go ahead and I'm going to share my tab again and show you guys the inside of this. You can actually see. All right, so we're looking at the inside of Constant Scale. So first of all, the question, can you do more than write a book? So The AI agents over here on the right-hand side, this is the tool suite. There's more than 40 agents to help you develop article content. So if it's a Medium article, if it's a Reddit post, social media content, and then the strategy side. So like social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, tweets, email content, just copywriting in general. All these chatbots, AI agents have been specifically trained to give you really great output just for that goal. Because that's our belief around AI, right? You can throw spaghetti at a wall, and that's kind of the approach with AI right now, because it is the Wild West. There's not a lot of guidance out there. And so we're all told, hey, go get on ChatGPT, start using it today. But actually, you might waste a lot of time if you're trying to develop a high value piece of content. So that's why we developed all of these, to get you that specific help. And these also help you with the strategy. So all your social media, short form, and then other writing types like books, product descriptions, guest post articles, and then the strategy for it. Like if you need to come up with YouTube headlines, YouTube content, like I mentioned earlier, a pricing breakdown. We have so many agents developed to help you with all of those things. So that is Writewell. So the difference between Writewell and Rankwell, Writewell addresses all your short form and the strategy behind it. And book content. We consider book content short form because you're writing it chapter by chapter, and you're taking those chapters and developing your full book from it. And like I shared with you, my process is I take those chapters, I Google Doc it, I'm humanly reading it, I'm making sure that it really meets that benchmark of good. So Rankwell is the long form writer, and this is specifically and only for your SEO content. So all your keyword research can actually be done from here. You get your monthly search volume, all the important numbers that matter. You can add this straight to a planner. We have a content calendar in here. You can actually bring in team members on that calendar and assign them different content to look at. The posts this is the magic of Rankwell. So this is the content itself that mimics a human content writer. I know Top Click Joe in the comments here on the live stream with us, this is what he's selling as a service right now to his clients. And then his writers just go in and they read it by eye. They make sure it looks good. They do tweaks. They add beautiful images, and then they publish. So this directly syncs up to your website. You can publish a post straight from here in the project settings. You can guide the tone of voice and even the research according to the country. So if you're in Europe, Google search results are very different than in the US. So you can actually set the country, and that will set the SERP analyzer. And the integrations directly connect to your website, WordPress being the number one that most of our clients and users have. So that's Rankwell. Rankwell is your SEO content, automated, natural link acquisition, all the things you need for website authority. And then Writewell is all of your short form, your content strategy, and your other types of content like books. And I know we had a question in there too about the real-time, what was that word that person used? A really great phrase. Let's see. See if I can find it real quick. Oh, we got so many comments. I love this, you guys. They're so engaged. Okay, information gain. That was the question. And they were talking about, yes, that does reflect new knowledge and unique insights. So this is a great question because one of the reasons I was anti-AI is ChatGPT and any other LLM, they didn't do that. So for example, if I'm in an industry and I'm talking about a new product in home security, and that new product changes the industry and like how we describe things is different, AI is not going to know that. The LLM is not going to know that because it's not out there doing research on that field in that industry real time. That's the difference between what we built and what's out there in LLMs. So Rankwell has a real-time SERP analyzer built into the technology, which means you don't have to, if you're using ChatGPT, you're usually running a plugin, and sometimes that plugin breaks. It's not even looking at the correct search results. It's a terrible experience. But what we've built is a crawler inside our technology that actually scrapes the top content, boils all that down, looks for the best insights, the best high authority websites, and then generates the content. So you're never going to have an information loss because that is our process. Our process basically allows for information gain real time. Oh, Joe is back in the comments saying we can get rid of a bunch of software. That's amazing. And then William's asking, what's the difference between the $49 plan? Great question. So the $249 plan gets you into Rankwell. The $49 plan gets you into Writewell. So with the $49 plan, you don't get those long form writing. You don't get the long form blogs. But if you're an author and you're like, I need social media content, I need to write book chapters, you likely don't need Rankwell just yet. If you have a website, you want to scale your traffic, your content, you need Rankwell. So go for the $249 a month plan. And that plan will actually get better in a few weeks. Chandler, anything else you want to point out or add?
I don't think so. It looks like Laz just signed up. We had some other folks sign up as well. I love it. Well, guys, I can't wait to see what you create with this tool.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what, whether it's books, whether it's blog posts, whether it's informational content, social media, whatever, Medium articles. I'm excited to see what you guys create. So really fun.
Yes. Well said. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap. I think there's questions we didn't get to, but if we didn't, feel free to email help@contentscale.ai. Your questions, we'll get back to you same day. We have an amazing support team. And wow, we went 7 minutes over. So it definitely is time to wrap. Thank you so much for all being here with us. I just appreciate you all. Glad to have you on this journey of AI adaptation with us. It's really an honor to get to do this. I mean, we're living in a whole new age, which is insane. So just realizing that is opportunity. And thank you so much, Chandler, for being here, being an awesome partner with us. We're really excited for what we can do in the days ahead.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Julia. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bye, guys.
See ya.